This is my favorite picture of Bill Shine with his friend John Miller. If you can't make it out, you must have seen it on the internet or anywhere, but if you can't make it out, email me and I'll send you a copy of it. You know, every time I get an email from Michael Schwartz, I get so jealous because right under Michael Schwartz's signature, it says William A. Shine. I wish I could have that. Now, Michael, I know that you met him first, but I'm still jealous. However, right under my name, it says John L. Miller. So I'm plenty proud of that. And we're all honored this afternoon that the closest people to those two great men are right here in our presence, Susan Shine and John L. Miller's daughter, Melanie Miller. In the 1980s, this Great Neck music program did not match the other stellar departments of the Great Neck Public Schools created by John L. Miller and sustained and grown by Bill Shine. It didn't come close to competing with the music programs in the surrounding schools on Long Island. On May 22nd, 1991, North High Principal Carol Clarke, North Middle Principal Pat Sullivan, retiring music teacher Earl Higgins, and Superintendent Bill Shine went to Stuyvesant High School in New York City for my demo lesson for Great Neck. It was the first year band practice class. We did nothing but scales and exercises, singing and me calling on individual students to play alone. After the class ended, the two principals then left the room to speak to my supervisor, to pump him, to find out what this Rutkowski was like with the students, with the parents, with the other teachers, while Shine and Higgins stayed in the classroom to watch two more classes that I was teaching. I was thrilled when I was told by Arlette Sanders that I was hired. But my first 2 years in Great Neck was a baptism by fire. Many of the parents wanted to tar and feather me because I was making their kids play scales instead of songs and that they weren't allowed to wear their baseball caps. On the first day I taught at Great Neck North High School the Period 9 band class, many of the students told me that they didn't want to come to class every day and they would not play scales and they refused to take off their baseball caps. I later learned that baseball caps were an important part of the adolescent culture. On the second day of classes, I tried to teach the Period 8 orchestra class of 16 students the C major scale so that we could start rehearsing Mozart's Jupiter Symphony. Superintendent Bill Shine, the tall, retired U.S. Marine Lieutenant Colonel, not lieutenant, not colonel, but lieutenant colonel, walked in and stood right over there. I saw my whole life pass before my eyes. I figured he's like the football coach, the head coach, looking to see how the new quarterback that he hired could throw some long passes. Well, the students sounded terrible. And we barely got through one octave of the C major scale by the time the class ended. Shine came over to me, and I thought he was going to say, "Rutkowski, you're fired." But he said, "You're giving them exactly what they need, discipline." When I told him that half the band students in the next period wanted to drop, he offered to speak to them. I actually audio taped that class, as I often and still do, and transcribed his very words to the class of 50 band students. This is what Bill Shine said on that second day of classes back in September 1991. "There is a big difference between discipline and a power relationship. You have chosen instrumental music. We intend to have a serious instrumental music program. Discipline is necessary to do the job properly. If that discipline is difficult for you to adhere to, if you can't do that, for whatever reason, then by all means, drop out. I don't care if there are only 5 of you left." And his hand, the fingers were like really long. 5 of you. "But if you stay with the music program, wonderful. But discipline is a very essential part of it." He then told the students to take off their baseball caps, which was part of the new discipline. The caps came off. He went on, "One of the things that has ruined, and at that point, I have it on tape, someone crashed a cymbal, and Bill Shine said, 'I hope that was a mistake.' And the kid said, 'Yes, it was.' And he said, 'Okay, good.' So he went on. So one of the things that has ruined the music program in Great Neck is the inability to work as a group, To give up our individuality for the group is very difficult for us. It is absolutely essential in any musical organization. I wish you well. No hard feelings if you don't want to be part of this. If you do, you're in for quite an adventure. Carry on, Mr. Rutkowski. He left. The caps went back on. Next day, half the band dropped. Dr. Shine would visit room 218 on a regular basis, often with Mrs. Shine and once with his son. Even after his retirement as superintendent, it was a blessing that it seemed he'd show up every time I was having a hard day. I found out later because parents were calling to complain about me. And Shine would say, just keep doing what you're doing. It was Bill Shine's constant support and care that helped me persevere. All my other colleagues kept telling me to go easy, stop being so rigid, lighten up. But I'm so glad I listened to Bill Shine. I'm sure Susan's experience as a performing musician, she sung at Carnegie Hall more than most musicians. She was a driving force, I'm sure, that led Bill to search, discover, and recruit a collection of music educators that have established a district music program that rivals any other on Long Island or in the state. So thank you, Susan. And every time I walk into room 218 at North High, I say, thank you, Bill Shine, for bringing me to Great Neck, and thank you for standing by me right up until the last time I saw you.